In the time it takes for me to cook this pizza, I'm going to explain what you need to know about the marketing distribution process in the film industry. Filmmakers love making films, but the one part of filmmaking that's often overlooked is marketing and distribution process.
Worst 8 hours of my life.
Marketing and distribution is important. You've worked really hard making a film, and now you need to make audiences aware of your product. So, how do you do that? That's where marketing comes in. In this video, we shall be exploring the different marketing and distribution techniques used in the film industry.
Oh, do we have to listen to all this?
Due to my love of comedy, I've chosen to focus on Ab-Fab the movie with Monty Python and the Holy Grail as reference to the past. In the past, audiences found out about films from posters, trailers and celebrity endorsement. Before the 80s, star theory was just as apt as it is nowadays, with celebrities such as Marilyn Monroe, Gene Kelly and Charlie Chaplin promoting films they would star in instead of having access to technologies such as Facebook and Twitter. Nowadays, social media has a big impact on marketing, with celebrities using their Facebook and Twitter accounts to promote their films that they are starring in, so that their followers can be aware of the films being released that they may want to watch. Marketing has always been a big expenditure in the filmmaking process, where in some cases almost half the budget can be used on marketing alone.
Are you mad? Well, you don't have to like it, that's not the point, darling. Well, how much did this lot set you back?
Well, I just spent as much as I could, darling. It cost me hundreds of thousands of pounds.
Oh, well, in that case, it's fabulous.
Yeah.
In Ab-Fab, there are lots of recognisable British celebrity personalities, such as Kate Moss, Lulu, and Emma Bunton from the biggest 90s girl band, Spice Girls. And of course, Jennifer Saunders and Joanna Lumley. Having celebrities that are well known by audiences help to promote the film according to star theory. Not only is this because celebrities will be involved in television and radio interviews promoting the upcoming film they appear in, but also because audiences are more likely to invest in a film if there are actors/actresses involved that they know and are fans of.
Well, I found out about Ab-Fab the movie because I'm a huge, massive super fan of it. So as soon as Jennifer Saunders announced it, I was there. I knew it was announced before it was announced. We were travelling Australia at the time. And we just, we got these face masks and everything. There's a bit of Patsy there. We got Eddie here. And look, even the popcorn box I kept because it's just so beautiful.
Audiences will follow these celebrities on social media such as Twitter and Instagram and will be able to interact with their posts by retweeting and liking posts relating to the upcoming film. Joanna Lumley has over 59,000 followers.
Bloody hell!
And Saunders has over 599,000 followers. Therefore, any post made by her will reach a big audience that may go on to watch the film.
Hurrah! Yeah!
So basically, I first found out about Ab-Fab the movie because I've basically been waiting for it my whole life. So I think I first found out it was actually happening when either Jennifer or Joanna went on a chat show. And then I think I found out about its official release, probably on social media, probably on Twitter. So I was very lucky because I got to go to the Australian premiere of Ab-Fab the movie because on Facebook they were doing a competition to describe a perfect day out with Patsy and Eddie, so you had to write a scenario, and I felt like celebs, and it was literally one of the best days of my life.
Since the celebrities in this film are mainly British icons, this is another reason why the film was so successful in the UK compared to other territories such as Spain, where the film only made $16,000 at box office during opening weekend. Another reason for the film's success in the United Kingdom is due to British audiences of the past several decades being familiar with the original BBC television comedy sitcom written by Saunders and Dawn French, Absolutely Fabulous.
How comfortable are you?
Well, on a scale of what?
Well, childbirth?
Oh.
These audiences will have been fans of the show and all its characters for years prior to the film's production. Therefore, those audiences know that they're spending their money on something they're familiar with and know they shall enjoy.
She's blind.
Due to the famous faces in Ab-Fab, a lot of people familiar with those faces would have spent their money on the film. The stars would attend press junkets, which means they would be interviewed by newspapers and magazines, be involved in radio and TV interviews such as Graham Norton and Alan Carr Chattyman. Ab-Fab also had a partnership with Diet Coke, so Saunders and Lumley had their faces all over the country in Diet Coke cans and bottles on the lead up to the film being released. This would create a buzz and get people excited for the film. The duo also had a float at London Gay Pride that summer in 2016 dressed as their characters. This was to engage the film fans within the gay community, which is a big part of the Ab-Fab fan base and fits in with the stereotypical flamboyant and fabulous lifestyle led by the characters in the fashion industry. The production companies behind AbFab the movie were BBC Films and Fox Searchlight Pictures, with distribution by 20th Century Fox Film Co Limited.
What's she drivelling on about?
Due to the big budget of the film, the distribution company would have started marketing in the early pre-production stages. There would not have been the need for sales agents to try and sell the film to distributors, as the production company would have been on board from the very beginning, not only due to the popularity of the television show and the familiarity of the writer Jennifer Saunders, but also due to the fact that the distributor and production company are both subsidiary companies of 20th Century Fox. The film was first released in the UK and Ireland on 1st July 2016, with a US release date and Australian release date later on that summer. The movie had grossed $37 million worldwide, including $20 million in the United Kingdom, $4.2 million in the United States, and $6.2 million in Australia, where, according to Saunders, the Australians loved the show's humour. Italy did not see the film release until February 2017. This may be due to the audiences not being familiar with the concept and all the characters of the film that British comedy fans have known for over the past 2 decades. Posters are an important marketing strategy, as they can be placed around locations where people are likely to see them. Posters are normally the first thing that people see telling them about an upcoming movie. Posters usually include a graphic, title and a catchphrase relating to the film which grabs the audience's attention and gives them an idea of what they are in for. These 3 posters used to advertise AbFab, the movie, all have the comedy duo at the centre of the poster. Therefore, audiences will automatically recognise the actresses and their on-screen personas, which will build up a hype about what the duo are about to release next. The title of the film stands out so that audiences can see what the movie is called and clarifies that a film about the television show is to be released. On poster 2 and 3, taglines such as "It's a huge great bloody movie, sweetie" and "On the run, not in these hills, darling" use language that AbFab fans are familiar with and used to reinforce the idea that the characters are making a comeback.
Great news.
The purpose of a trailer is to attract an audience to the film. This trailer is done in style to make audiences think that they are watching an advert for a beverage, with the use of a typical voiceover used to sell a product. However, towards the end, the audience realise that the advert is selling them a new movie for AbFab. During development of a film, the teaser trailer gets refined. This full-length trailer, which was released 27th April 2016, starts off playing homage to scenes that AbFab fans will remember from the television series, with one of the characters falling out of the car drunk as they arrive home the next morning.
Darling, sweetheart.
Excerpts are chosen from the most exciting or funny part of the plot so that audiences get an idea of what the film's narrative is, but these are shortened, therefore the audience does not encounter any major spoilers.
I'm gonna roll away the hand. Hi, Johnny. Don't you remember me?
Oh, God, I can't believe you're still alive.
Johnny? Kate!
So, we've spoken about the marketing techniques used for promoting AbFab the movie. These included social media, trailers, and a partnership with Diet Coke.
How much longer, Eddie? Oh, I don't know, darling. Will you stop asking? Why? Eddie, I need the toilet. Oh, well, I'm not even sure it's plumbed in, darling. Have you got a joint, Eddie? Oh, darling, I've got most of a northern Pakistani field here, if you want.
But how were films marketed back in the past, like the 70s? Well, let's find out.
Film distribution in those days was very different from how it is now, in so much as, you know, there was no digital way of people's attention. So, you know, people's attention was we went for it through very traditional means, through posters, trailers.
Monty Python and the Holy Grail has been chosen as a 1970s comparative film because it started off as a TV show with flying circus in 1969, just like AbFab did in the early 90s, and therefore audiences would already be aware of the stars in the movie. Do you remember how you first found out about Monty Python and the Holy Grail being released?
Well, at the time it was sort of anticipated because Monty Python's Flying Circus had sort of just come to an end on television. Fans were waiting to see what Pythons would do next, so their natural progression was to go into film.
Holy Grail premiered in Los Angeles, California on the 14th of March 1975, with its first release in London on the 9th of April. The film was globally released within the time period of 1975 to 1980, with a few exceptions that didn't get the release until the 2000s. The budget for the film was originally $200,000, but separate investors, including Led Zeppelin and Pink Floyd and Elton John, helped increase it to $400,000, thus doubling the original budget. The film took $5 million in box office as listed on all-time worldwide box office. The film had numerous versions of a poster released to inform the public of the future film being released. The titles are bold and colours stand out to catch the passerby's attention. The image of the hand holding the Holy Grail here indicate what the film will involve to give the audience some idea of what the future film will be about.
Bigger was best, really. You know, the bigger the poster, the better the poster. You've obviously sort of driven down motorways and seen what we call 64 sheet, 96 sheet posters, these huge posters on the sides of buildings. And these were kind of like prime spots for movies throughout the 70s, 80s and 90s, even now.
The text on the poster uses the same font that audiences of the TV show are familiar with. This helps fans feel reconnected with the original material, just like how AbFab uses catchphrases that AbFab fans would easily recognise. Press junkets have been held since the 1930s and would have been a form of marketing used by distributors for Holy Grail in the 70s. The BBC interviewed the Pythons during filming of the Holy Grail and broadcast the interview for audiences to watch. Distributors will usually arrange with stars of film to attend press junkets in order to promote the film. Nowadays, stars will also be contracted to use their social media status to create a buzz around the film for their fans and prospective audiences. In December 1974, a documentary was broadcast called Monty Python and the Holy Grail Location Report. This BBC doc visited the set of the Holy Grail. However, audiences were told this documentary shouldn't be viewed as making of the film, but rather a goof-off session that is simply there to conjure up laughter. This would have been done to get audiences ready for the film's release the following year, and so, any audiences not familiar with the show could decide whether it would be a film or not that they would be interested in watching. Whilst technology was more limited in the 1970s, to make audiences aware of upcoming films, there was still the use of trailers and posters. Movie studios started producing trailers for their films in 1916, although they were rather basic, including snippets of the upcoming film and overlaying text telling the audiences about the actors or actresses in the film. Trailers began to prove to be a very efficient form of marketing and getting upcoming films talked about by the public. Distribution doesn't just stop after a film has been released to cinemas. Holy Grail is in fact still being distributed today, with DVDs and Blu-rays with extended scenes, the makings of, and commentary from the makers of the film to help fans really get stuck into the filmmaking process. Another marketing strategy is to release merchandise. Until the 60s/70s, little merchandising activity took place in Hollywood, other than by Walt Disney. The Disney Brothers, after having massive success with Mickey Mouse and Steamboat Willie in 1928, were offered $300 to put Mickey Mouse on writing tablets. This extra money financed more expensive productions at the Disney studio. In the 30s, Disney bracelets and ice cream started appearing all over the world, therefore making audiences more familiar with the Disney brand and its logos, which led to the Disney amusement parks in Paris and Orlando. To conclude, although over time there have been advancements in technology, especially where social media is concerned, with easy access to mobile applications such as Facebook and Twitter, it is clear to see that marketing techniques such as press junkets, trailers and film posters are still used and are just as effective in informing audiences of upcoming films today. It's also clear that celebrity endorsement has always played a big part in the marketing process, as shown with Monty Python's investors and AbFab's star cast. So there you have it. We have now discussed the marketing and distribution process used in the film industry, with nowadays and in the past, talking about Monty Python and AbFab the movie. Now, I think it's time I go enjoy my pizza.
You did quite well there, didn't you? I mean, I wasn't unconscious for long, was I?
Came around really quickly. I was really proud of you.